Thank you for listening to Court One News. More citizens have been spotted fleeing in the dead of night to follow their beloved and recently banished Duke Sr. into the forest of Arden. Furthermore, the court is wrought with pity and admiration for Duke Sr.'s daughter, Rosalind, who was left behind as a companion to her beloved cousin, Celia. Approval rates for the new Duke Frederick are at an all-time low as the new Duke continues to banish record numbers of dissidents. It's not looking good for this new Duke, and you don't want to be on his bad side. Now over to Bill for sports.
Thanks, Aaron, and thank you, citizens of the court, for listening. Well, things are heating up for Charles the wrestler as he has just finished his spring training. I was there with him in the arena, and boy, was it a sight to see. Charles is performing at peak condition. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in a fight with that guy.
That's right, Bill. And, this Justin Orlando Dubois, the often forgotten son of old Sir Roland, who was one of Duke Frederick's first banishments, has stepped up to challenge the wrestler. Well, what can we say? Good luck?
More like rest in peace. Am I right?
Oh, hold on. I'm just getting some breaking news. Okay. Correction from a previous statement we made. Duke Frederick's approval rating is actually at an all-time high. Yes, Duke Frederick's approval rating is at an all-time high throughout the court, and everyone loves him and thinks he's perfect in every way, and we thank God he is our divine ruler. And he has also outlawed the use of cell phones and eating or drinking while in the court, and that there will be a 10-minute intermission halfway through the production. What could this all mean,
Well,
Bill?
I'm not sure, Aaron, but I hope there's snacks. Oh, Aaron, there's guards outside. They're saying something I can't quite... Oh, they're saying we're banished. Yep, we're banished.
Well, I figured it was only a matter of time.
Yep. Shall we head to the Forest of Arden?
To the Forest of Arden! Let's just make sure we know where our emergency exits are.
All right, folks, enjoy the show. Court One News, out.
My brother Jacques he keeps at school. He keeps me rustically at home. Besides this nothing which he so plentifully gives me, the something which nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is what grieves me, Adam.
Yonder comes my master, your brother!
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up. What?
Now, sir, what think you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made a poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them?
Know you where you are, sir?
Very well, sir, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better in that you were the firstborn. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before me is nearer to his reverence.
What? Clown?
Come, clown, you are too young in this.
Come here, boy! Villain!
I'm no villain! I am the youngest son of Sir Roland Dubois, and he is thrice the villain that such a father begot villains!
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's remembrance be at accord.
I will not let you go till I please. You shall hear me. My father left you in his will to give me a good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me some of the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that I will go and buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I shall not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you leave me. Get with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I've lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master, he not spoke such a word.
Holla, Dennis.
Calls your worship.
Was not Charles, the Duke's wrestler, here to speak with me?
So please you, he is here at the door and importunes access to you.
Call him in.
Charles!
Good morning, your worship.
Good, Monsieur Charles! Yeah. What is the new news at this new court?
Oh, there's no news at the court, sir. But the old news, that is. The old Duke was banished by his younger brother, the new Duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him, whose lands and revenues enrich the new Duke, and therefore he gives them good leave to wander.
Do you know if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
She's at the court, sir. No less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never 2 ladies loved as they do.
But where will he live?
They say he's in the forest of Arden. Many merry men with him. There they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him each and every day and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the golden world.
The golden world?
Yep.
Will you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir, and I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition against me to try a fall, but tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit. Your brother is young and tender, and for your love, I will be loath to foil him, as I must for my own honor.
I'll tell thee, Charles, Orlando is the stubbornest young fellow, full of ambition, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. He will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee with some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he hath taken thy life by some indirect means or other. And I assure you, and it's with almost tears I speak, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living.
Well, I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If you ever go alone again, I'll never wrestle for a prize more. So, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now, will I stir this gamester? I hope I shall see an end to him, for my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled, and yet learned. He has noble device, and he is so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people who best know him, that I'm altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long. I hope I shall see an end to him. This wrestler shall clear all. Nothing remains but that I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
Ainsi Pinsette veut se marier au brave guerre, mais ils n'ont rien à manger, ça je le sais.
Mais ils n'ont rien à manger, ça je le sais.
Mais ils n'ont rien à manger, mais ils n'ont rien à manger.
Mais ils n'ont rien à manger, mais ils n'ont rien à manger.
J'aperçois venir un grand chien au brave guerre, sur son dos une cuite de pain, ça c'est fin.
Sur son dos une cuite de pain, ça c'est fin.
Sur son dos une cuite.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet, my cuss be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier?
If my
Unless
uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke, my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine, so wouldst thou.
Well then, I will forget the condition of my estates to rejoice in yours.
My sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry!
From henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see, what think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sporting neither than with safety of a pure blush. Thou mayst in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so. For her benefits they're mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, but not in the lineaments of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us a witch to flout, at fortune hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the arguments.
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature when fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wit.
How now, witch, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honour, but I was bid to come for you.
Where you learn that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honour there were good pancakes, and swore by his honour the mustard was not. Now I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good. And yet was not the knight forsworn?
How prove you that in the grand heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry, unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now! Stroke your chins, and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I will. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honour, for he never had any, and if he did, he swore it all away before he ever saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is that thou meanst?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honour him, enough! Speak no more of him, you'll be whipped for taxation one of these days!
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely when wise men speak foolishly.
By my troth thou sayest true, for since the little wit that fools have was silence, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Madame Lebeau,
With her mouth full of news.
which you will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
And we will be news crammed.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Madame Lebeau, what's the news?
Fair princesses, you've lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
Of what color, madame? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destinies decrees.
Well said, that was laid on with a trowel.
Now, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thy old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it pleases your ladyships, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning that is dead and buried.
Well, there comes an old man and his 3 sons, 3 proper young men with excellent growth and presence and bells on their necks. The eldest wrestled with Charles the Duke's wrestler, and Charles in a moment threw him, breaking 3 of his ribs. Oh. And so he served the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part in weeping.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. His first time had I, breaking of ribs was a sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for they are ready to perform it.
Yonder shore, they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
His own peril of his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so you will please give us leave.
Oh, you will take little delight in it, I can tell you. In pity of the challenger's youth, I fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Madame Lebeau.
Monsieur the challenger, the princess has called for you.
Well, I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the general challenger. I come but in, as others do, to try him with the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny such fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shamed who was never gracious, if killed, but one dead who was willing to be so. I will do my friends no harm, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world do I fill up a place which may be better supplied once I've made it empty.
With the little strength I have, I would it were with you. Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Come, where is this gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath ended on more modest working.
You shall try, but one fall.
One fall.
One fall, one fall, one fall!
No, I warrant your grace. You shall not entreat him to a second that so have mightily persuaded him from the first.
Oh, you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. But come your ways.
1, 2, 3, fight! He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away.
Winner!
What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I find him still mine enemy. Thou should have better pleased me with this deed, had thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were on my father's house, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son. I would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I not known this young man his son, I should have given him tears and to entreaties, and thus he should have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you keep your promises in love, but justly as you have exceeded promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune, that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you?
He calls us back. My pride filled with my fortunes, I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged a conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or Charles or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved true commendation, true applause and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition.
Why, thank you, madam. And I pray you, tell me this, which of the two is the daughter of the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but indeed, the smallest is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I will tell you, This duke hath taken strong displeasure against the lady, and on my life his malice against the lady will all of a sudden break forth. Sir, very well. In a world better than this one, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bound to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from a tyrant duke into a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
J'ai tant sauté, aux dansons la servante. J'ai tant dansé, j'ai tant sauté, aux dansons la servante. J'en ai décousu mes souliers à l'ombre, puis dansons là, légèrement, dansons la servante. Dansons là, légèrement, dansons la servante. J'ai été retrouvé le cordonnier.
Why, cousin, why, Rosalind? Oh, Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No! Thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this wearisome world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Oh, hem them away.
I would if I could cry hem and have him.
Oh, come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take part of a better wrestler than myself.
Let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and you love him because I do. Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch with your safest haste, and get thee from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. If you are found so near as 20 miles from our court, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then good, my liege. Mistake me not to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
I, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else with her father she ranged alone.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We still have lived together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. Her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool, she robs thee of thy name. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce this sentence on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you had stayed the time upon mine honor and in the greatness of my words, you die.
Why, whither shall we go? Whither shall we go? Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in pouring mean attire with a kind of umber smirch from my face. The like do you. So shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
were it not better, because I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man.
Oh, what shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state, no longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool from your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
Oh, he'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Salut, bonjour, belle maison, belle crèche, ton sapin, c'est une épinette. Ton lieu de sans dessin, pense à moi, oublie pas mon cadeau. Bonjour, bonsoir, griser le beau-frère, bois pas trop. Pense à toi, le shooter de trop, puis les attaquants passent tout droit. Bonjour, bonsoir, salut Roger, toujours pas de fiancé. Bonne année, mon grand-né, toi pareillement grand-dent. Bonjour, bonsoir, passant, à Louis, à Lucie et ses quatre petits, à Jean-Guy et Manon, à Lucie et puis Yvon, à Aimé, la Lucille, à la belle Pauline, à Sandrine, à Aline, à la grosse Jeannine, à Perrine, à Maryse et puis à Luc aussi, à Léo, à Claudio, aux trois frères de Mario, Bernard, Bertrand, Laurent, à Louis, à Catou, à Sarah, Zoul et tout.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet it irks me, the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should, in their own confines, with forked heads, have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy jot grieves at that. Today, my lord of Amon's and myself did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak whose antique root peeps out.
Upon the brook. Oh, what brawls along the wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag, that from a hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt, did come to languish. And indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans
that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase.
And thus the hairy beast, much marked by the melancholy jaws, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
I cannot hear of any that did see her, my lord, the Rhenish clown at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the princess gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your cousin and her daughter much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler, that did but lately foil this in you, Charles. And she believes that wherever they have gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring him to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly. Let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Who's there?
What? Oh, my young master, oh, my gentle master, oh, my sweet master, oh, you memory of old Sir Roland. Why, what make you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prize of the humorous duke?
Why? What's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, your brother, no brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son. Of him I was about to call his father. I've heard your praises. And this night he means to burn the lodgings where you used to lie, and you within it. And if he fail of that, who have other means to cut you off. I overheard him in his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it. Fear it. Do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road?
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the 50 hire I saved under your father. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor with unabashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore my age is as a lusty winter, frosty, but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, when service but for duty, not for meed.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years now, almost fourscore, here lived I, but now live here no more. For 17 years many their fortune seek, but at fourscore it is too late to weep. For fortune cannot recompense me better, and to die well and not my master's better.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I pray you bear with me, I can go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you, but I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden, the mournful eye. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
I be so good, Touchstone. Look you, who comes here, young man in an old and solemn talk?
Corin, that thou knows how I do love her.
I partly guessed, for I have loved her now.
No, Corin, being old thou canst guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true lover as a Versailles upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love was like to mine, I think that never man loved so. How many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst never love so heartily, that thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love has made thee run into. Thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy here in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe!
Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you question yond man. If he for gold will give us any food, I faint almost to death.
Holla, you clown!
Fool, he's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
You're better, sir?
Oh, peace, I say. Good evening to you, friend.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us to where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here is a young maid with travel much to press, who faints for succor. Fair sir, I pity her. My master is of churlish disposition and little recks to find the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and his bounds of feed are now on sale. And at our sheepcote now, you will find nothing that you will feed on, but what is come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his cottage and flock?
That young fair swain that you saw here but erewhile that cares little for buying anything.
If it stand with honesty, buy thou cottage, pasture, and flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me, if you like, upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life. I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Dans la ville de Paris, il y a une jolie fille.
Dans la ville de Paris, il y a une jolie fille.
Blanche comme le jour, belle comme la nuit. Ils sont trois capitaines qui vont lui faire l'amour.
Blanche comme le jour, belle comme la nuit. Ils sont trois capitaines qui vont lui faire l'amour.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
More, I prithee, more.
Will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More, I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanza. Call you them stanzas?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Come, sing, and you that will not, hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while. The Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look at you.
I hath been all the day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
Ooh, I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it do come to pass,
if it do come to pass,
that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please. Duke Dame, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, here shall he see gross fools as he, and if he will come to me.
What's that, Duke Dame?
Ah, 'tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go to sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here I lie down to measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
For my sake, be comfortable. Oh, behold death a while at arm's end. I will here be with thee presently. Oh, come, I will bear thee to some shelter. And thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner, if there live anything in this desert. Cheerily, good Adam.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here was he merry, hearing of a song.
If he, compacted jars, grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go, seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool. A miserable world, as I do live by food, I met a fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock, thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11, and so from hour to hour we ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs the tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like a chanticleer, that fools should be so deep, contemplative, and I did laugh. Sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, oh, worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
One that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, to which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you read your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty withal, as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee! I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What for a counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin, in chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all the embossed heads and sordid evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world.
Forbear, and eat no more! Why, I have eaten none yet. Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food. Let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I had thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whatever you are that in this desert inaccessible, beneath the shade of melancholy boughs lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if ever you have looked on better days, if ever you have been where bells have knolled to church, if ever you have sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know what it is to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good man's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered, and therefore sit you down in gentleness.
But then forbear your food a little while. Whiles like a doe I go and find my fawn and give it food. There's an old poor man who hath after me many a weary step limped in pure love, till he first be sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out. We will nothing waste until you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This Wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play.
All the world's a stage. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow, and then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly with good capon line, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in a sound. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Oh, welcome. Sit down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly.
Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, that dost not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembered not. Then hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithful you are, and as mine eyes doth his effigies witness most truly limbed and living in your face, then be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
out thy brother wheresoever he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12th month, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory.
If only your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
We'll push him out of doors. Let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going.
To your bricks and mortar, farewell to dirty lies, farewell to gangers and your gangplank, and to hell with your overtime. The good ship ragamuffin, she's lying at the quay, want to take her back with a shallow's back to the shores of Bonny Bay. I'm on my way down to the quay where the ship at anchor lays, to command a gang of navvies. They told me to engage.
Hang there my verse in witness of my love. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive she.
So, Touchstone, what do you think of this shepherd's life?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect it is private, it is a very vile life. In respect it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humour well, but as there's no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
Only that the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. He that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. The property of rain is to wet and fire to burn. That good pasture makes fat sheep, and that a great cause in the night is a lack of the sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Whatsoever I call it?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
For not being at court, you've reason.
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good behavior in the court are most mockable in the country, as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You kiss your hands, but that courtesy would be uncleanly of courtiers or shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fells, you know, are greasy. Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted onto the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures, fairest lined, are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, the fair of Rosalind.
I'll give you so 8 years together. Dinners, suppers, and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right, but a woman's rake to market.
Out, fool.
For a taste. If a heart do lurk behind, let him seek out Rosalind. If a cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. They that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. Sweetest rose he will find, must find lost prick and Rosalind.
Peace, you dull fool.
This is the very forced gallop of verses. Why do you inflict yourself with them?
I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graft it with you, and then I'll graft it with the meddler. And then you'll be the earliest fruit in the country, and you'll be rotten ere you be half ripe, and that is the right virtue of the meddler.
You have said, but whether wisely know, let the forest judge.
Look, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled? No, Tongues I'll hang on every tree that shall civil saying show. Somehow brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest bows, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda, write Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part. Sad Lucretia's modesty, thus Rosalind of many parts.
O most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, "Have patience, good people"?
Didst thou hear these verses?
Yes, all of them, and more too, for some of them had more feet in them than the verses could bear.
That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet could not stand by themselves, and therefore stood lamely within the verse.
Try you who hath done this.
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change your color.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What said he when thou saw'st him? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Answer me in one word! But doth he know that I am in this forest, and in a man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to thy tongue, I pray thee, it curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous, he comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden, thou bringst me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman when I think I must speak? Sweet, say on.
Oh, you bring me out. So, comes he not here?
'Tis he, slick by a Newton!
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone. And so had I, and yet for fashion's sake I thank you too for your society. Got by you, let's meet as little as we can. I do desire we may be better strangers. Oh, I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks. I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly. Rosalind is your love's name? Yes, just. I do not like her name. There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened. What stature is she of? Just as high as my heart.
Ugh, you are full of pretty answers.
Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings? Not so, but I answer you right, painted cloth, from whence you have studied your questions. You have a nimble wit. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery? I tried no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults. The worst fault you have is to be in love. It's a fault I would not trade for your best virtue. I am weary of you. By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you. He is but drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him. There I shall see mine own figure, which I take either to be a fool or a cipher. I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love. I am glad of your departure. Adieu, Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and by that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forster?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Else there is no true lover in the forest. Else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Am I not the swift foot of time? Would that not have been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who time stands still withal.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister. Here in the skirts of the forest like fringe upon a petticoat.
But your accent is something finer than one could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
Indeed, I have been told so of many. An old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. He was in his youth in inland land and knew courtship well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched by so many giddy offenses that he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal. Am I right, women?
I pray you recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my medicine, but on those that are sick. There is a young man haunts the forest, abuses our young trees by carving Rosalind into their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns, elegies on brambles, all forsooth defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you, and he taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of Russ's I'm sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a pale and sunken eye, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, but I pardon you for that, for your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbranded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation.
Fair youth, I would I could believe that I love.
But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. And yet I profess curing it by counsel.
And did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this matter. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, inconstant, apish, shallow, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this color. We now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, then I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and I will take it upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, and there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would become every day to woo me and call me Rosalind.
Well, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
I will show it to you, but you must tell me where in the forest you live. Shall we go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Will you go, sister?
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up thy goats. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features? Lord warn us, what features?
Why, I'm here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet honest Ovid was among the gods. When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded with a forward tight understanding, it strikes a man more dead than great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest indeed a word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry. What they swear in poetry may be said, as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods made me poetical?
I do truly, for thou swearest to me thou art honest now. Now if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored, for honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
Material fool. Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, and to cast honesty upon a foul slut would to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut. Thou I thank the gods I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter, but be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I've been with Sir Oliver Montex, the vicar of the next village, who hath agreed to come to this place in the forest and to couple us.
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen, amen, may people fearful hearts stagger in this attempt, for we have no temple but wood, no assembly but horned beasts. Here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Montex, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we come with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take on the gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get thee a good priest that can tell thee what marriage is.
I am not in the mind, but I would rather be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it is a good excuse hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me and let me counsel thee. What?
Come, sweet Audrey! We must be married, we must live in Audrey! Farewell, good Master Oliver!
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes, I think he not a pick purse nor a horse stealer, but for his verity and love, I do think him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he's not in.
But you have heard him swear he downright was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster, for they are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke your father.
I met with the Duke yesterday and had much good question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I told him just as good as he. He laughed and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Who comes here?
Mistress and master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd who complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us to the sight, and you shall say, I'll prove a busy actor in your play.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me, do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say it not so in bitterness. The common executioner whose heart, accustomed to the sight of death, makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humble neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be he that dies, and the latest by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty, sure, and very probable, that eyes that were the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on enemies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swoon, why now fall down? Or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice incapable in pressure thy palm some moment keeps. But now, mine eyes which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe! If ever as ever may be near, You meet in some fresh cheek in a power fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not down near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
Pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? But though you have no beauty, as by my faith, I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed. Therefore must you be proud and pitiless? Why? What means this? Why do you look on me? You foolish shepherd! Wherefore do you follow her? You are 1,000 times a proper man than she a woman. 'Tis fools such as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell what you can. You are not for all markets.
Sweet youth, I pray you chide a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. And besides, I like you not.
Dear shepherd, now I find thy soul of mine. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe!
What sayst thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief in love, by giving your love your sorrow and my grief were both cured.
Thou hast my love, is not that neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee. And yet, it is not that I bear thee love, but since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such poverty of grace, that I think it the most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man, that the main harvest reaps lose now and then a scattered smile that I'll live upon.
Knowst thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I met him oft. He hath bought the cottage and the bounds that the old carl at once was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy, yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty, and sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, but for his years he's tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference betwixt the mingled red and constant damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair black, and now I'm remembered scorned at me. I marvel why I answered yet again. But that's all one. Omittance is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him in passing short. Go with me, Silvius.
En revenant de Saint-André,
En revenant de Saint-André,
dans mon chemin j'ai rencontré, chanté, dansé, sauté, mais mignonne que la musique est bonne.
I prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Then 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldiers, which is ambitious, nor the lawyers, which is politic, nor the ladies, which is nice, nor the lovers, which is all these, but it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
A traveler. By my faith, you have much good reason to be sad. For I fear you have sold your lands to see other men's, and to have seen much and have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it too.
Good day, and happiness, dear Rosalind. Hey then, God be with you, and you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Look, ye list more strange suits to save all the benefits of your country. Be out of love and nativity, or I'll scarce think you have swam in a gondola. Why, how now, Orlando? You, a lover? Where you been all this while? And you serve me such another trick? Never come to my sight more.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy, I had his leaf be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. And he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns, which such as you are fain to be beholding to your wives for. And he comes armed in his fortune and prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me, for now I'm in holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you were better to speak first. And then, when you were gravelled for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit. And for lovers lacking, God warn us matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out, being before his beloved mistress?
Marry, that should I, or should I think my honesty ranker than my wit?
What, of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, yet out of your suit. Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say that you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say, I will not have you.
Then, in mine own person, I die.
No, Faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and never in this time was there any man that died that we could see in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind be of this mind, for my Professor Frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill a fly. But now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition. Ask me what you will, and I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What will you say, sister?
Oh, I pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin. Will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Now you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
Now, tell me how long you will have her after you have possessed her.
Forever and a day. But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I must leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lag thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner, but by 2 o'clock I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. My friends told me what you would prove, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 'Tis but one cast away, and so come death. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you can call Rosalind that can be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my
no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. So adieu.
Time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love parade. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz, dost thou know how many fathoms deep I am in love? It hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Oh, rather bottomless. Let as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
I'll tell the Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh until he return.
And I'll sleep.
And here much Orlando.
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrows and gone forth to sleep. Look who comes here.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swagger. Bear this, bear all. She says, I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud and that she could not love me. Why she writes so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, you are a fool turned into the extremity of love. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention, his hand.
Sure it is hers.
Why? 'Tis a boisterous and cruel style. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? He deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee? Not to be endured! Go your ways. I see that love hath made thee a tame snake. And say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. And if she will not, I will not have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word. Here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in the purlieus of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself. There is none within.
If that I may profit by tongue, then should I know you by description? Such garments in such years. The boy is fair, of female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. Are you not the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to the youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am, but what must we understand by this?
It is some of my shame, if you will know of me, what man I am, and how, and why, and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell. He threw his eye aside, and mark, what object did it present itself? Under an oak, a wretched, ragged man lay sleeping on his back. About his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who, with her heads nimble in threats, did approach the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, upon seeing Orlando, it did slip away with indented glides into a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching, head on ground with a cat-like watch. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his eldest brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And, well, he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the socked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back, and purpose so, but kindness, nobler than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which hurtling from miserable slumber, I awakened.
But for the bloody napkin.
Well, it is some of my shame, if you will know of me what man I am, and after my conversion so sweetly taste, how this napkin was stained.
I pray you tell it.
By and by, when from first to last betwixt us two, tears our recountenance most kindly bathed, as to how I came to that desert place. In brief, he led me unto the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who instantly led me to his cave, there stripped himself, and here, upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and so now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon his Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, so that you might forgive his broken promise, and to deliver this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto the shepherd youth that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Oh no, oh, why, oh, no, Ganymede, oh, sweet Ganymede, oh.
Many will swoon when they look on blood.
There's more to it, cousin Ganymede.
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
Oh, we'll lead you thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You, a man, you lack a man's heart.
I do so, I confess it, but a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Hi-ho.
This was not counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that this was a passion of earnest.
Come, you look paler and paler. I pray you draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
We shall find the time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good enough.
A most wicked sort of a most vile my text. But Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest, lays to claim you?
I know who 'tis. He hath no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink for me to see a clown. On my troth, we that have good manners have much to answer for. We shall be flouting, we cannot hold.
Good evening, Audrey.
Good evening, William.
Good evening to you too, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. Cover thy head, nay, prithee be covered. How old are you, friend?
5 and 20, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy William?
Willie, sir.
A fair name. Was born in the forest here?
Ah, sir. I thank God.
Thank God! What a great answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir. So-so.
So-so is good. Very excellent good. And yet, it is not. It is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Sir, I have a pretty wit. Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember the saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. You do love this maid? I do, sir. Give me a hand. Art thou learned? No, sir. Then learn this of me. To have is to have. What is a figure in rhetoric? That drink, being poured out of a cup into a glass, while filling one doth empty the other, for all your writers may consent that ipse is he. Now, you are not ipse, for I am he. Which is he, sir? He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you, clown, abandon, and the vulgar leave the society and the boorish company of this female and the common woman. Together, abandon the society of this female, or thou perishest, or to thy better understanding, diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal thee in poison or bastardo with steel. I will ban thee with thee in faction. I will overrun thee with policy. I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore, trembling depart.
Do, good William.
Go rest you merry, sir.
Seek you. Come away.
Trip, orgy, trip, like attend, like attend.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, that but seeing you should love, and loving woo and wooing she should grant?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. Consent us both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be for your good and for my father's house, that all the revenue that was old Sir Roland's I will instate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow, and thither will I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliena, for look, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
Farewell, good sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded by the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
But did your brother tell you how well I counterfeited his swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true that no sooner your brother and my sister met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but sought the remedy. And in these degrees they have made pairs of stairs to marriage. They are in the very rats of love, and clubs cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will invite the Duke to the nuptial. But, oh, how bitter it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more will I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness by how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow, can I not serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then, no longer with idle thinking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose. Believe then that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art, yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near to the heart as your gesture cries out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know out of what straits of fortune she is driven, and it seems not impossible to me, if not appearing inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do, though I say I am a magician, which I tender dearly. So, put you in best array, with your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to see despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be made of sighs and tears, and so I am for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made of faith and service, and so I am for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humbleness, patience, and impatience, all purity, all trial, and obedience, and so I am for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why do you speak to while you blame me to love you?
To her that is not here nor doth not hear.
I pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I will love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me all together. I will marry you if I ever marry woman, and I will be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if I ever satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well, I have left you commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Come on. Yes.
All right, silence, please. No? It was a lover and his last.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no.
O'er the green cornfield did pass.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing, hey ding a ding ding, sweet lovers of the spring.
Between the acres of the rye,
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no.
these pretty country folks would lie.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing, hey ding a ding ding, sweet lovers of the spring.
This carol they began that out.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no.
How that life was but a flower.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing, hey ding a ding ding, sweet lovers of the spring.
And therefore take this present time.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no.
For love is crowned with a prime.
With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when the birds do sing, hey ding a ding ding, sweet lovers of the spring. Sweet lovers of the spring.
Truly, young gentlemen, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untimable.
You were deceived, sir. We kept time.
We lost not our time.
Oh, my troth, yes, I counted, but time lost to hear such a foolish song. God be with you, and God mend your voices. Come, Audrey.
And oh, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised.
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that fear, they hope, and no, they fear.
Patience, once more, while our compact is urged. You say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her upon Orlando here.
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her when I bring her? That would I, were I of all kingdoms king. You say you'll marry me if I be willing.
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But else, refusing me, you'll wed this faithful shepherd?
So is the bargain.
And you'll marry Phoebe if she will.
Could have her and death with one thing.
I have promised to make all this matter even. Keep your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. You yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep your word that you'll marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Silvius, that you'll marry Phoebe if she refuse me. I have tried to make all this matter even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter.
There is surely another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here come a pair of very strange beasts in which all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greeting to you all.
Good my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have met so often in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
I like him very well.
Then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yea, brought her hither, so thou mightst join her hand with his, who heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he, nor never wed woman if you be not she.
Peace, ho! I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must join hands to join in Hymen's bands, if truth holds true contents. You and you no cross shall part. You and you are heart and heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman be your lord. You and you are sure together, like the winter to foul weather. 'Tis this wedlock hymn we sing. Feed yourselves with questioning, how reason's love may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish. Wedding is great Juno's crown, O blessed bond of board and bed. Hymen peoples every town, high wedlock then be honored. High honor and renown to Hymen, God of every town. High honor and renown to Hymen, God of every town.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word, now thou art mine. Thy faith my fancy to thee doth combine.
Let me have audience for a word or two.
Jock!
I am the second son of old Sir Roland that brings these tidings to this fair assembly. Come, Sir Cousin. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world. His crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with him exiled.
This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offerest fairly to thy brother's wedding. To one his lands withheld, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First in this forest let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of our happy number that hath endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share in the good of our returned fortune, according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this new fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry, play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with the measure heaped in joy, to the measures fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court?
He hath.
To him will I, out of these convertites there's much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honor I bequeath, your patience and your virtue well deserve it. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your land and love and great allies, and you to a long and well-deserved marriage. So, to your pleasures, I am for other than dancing measures.
Stay, Jacques, stay.
To see no pastime I, what you would have, I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed. We will begin these rites, as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
It is not the fashion to see the lady, the epilogue, yet it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord, the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays do prove the better by the help of an epilogue. What a case I am in then, that am neither a good epilogue nor cannot insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg of me will not become of me.
My way is to conjure you. I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering that none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that liked me, complexions that pleased me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure as many of you as have good beards, good faces, and sweet breaths that will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.